Hello, everyone watching this video. This is Group Green, and our topic of research is comparative analysis of energy efficiency between ChatGPT-generated codes and handwritten codes. I'm Sable Xie, and I will be responsible for introducing the context, motivation, and the goal of our study. Let's begin with the context. Large-scale language model like GPT has made a significant impact on various fields. ChatGPT, one of the most popular AI chatbots today, utilizes large language model based on the GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 architectures. Trained through reinforced learning with human feedback, ChatGPT excels in natural language conversations and is capable of handling specialized domain discussions, including producing code from input texts. Within the developer communities, AI tools has gained substantial popularity. According to a Stack Overflow developer survey, 77% of developers prefer using AI tools as part of their development workflows. In fact, 44% of survey participants already use AI tools, and an additional 26% plan to incorporate AI tools into their development processes. However, recent study has raised concerns about the environmental impact of software development. Carbon emissions associated with software are now comparable to the combined emissions of the entire aviation, shipping, and railway industry, contributing to 4 to 5% of global carbon emissions. This environmental concern has led us to focus on the energy consumption of software. As a result, we have designed an experiment to investigate the energy efficiency of ChatGPT-generated code compared to manually written code. We aim to explore whether ChatGPT-generated code can be a more energy-efficient alternative to handwritten code. And our research is designed to provide insights for developers to make informed discussions regarding the use of AI-generated code in their projects. Our goals including raising awareness among developers about energy consumption and integrating energy efficiency consideration into software development practices, ultimately fostering a more environmental friendly and substance IT industry.
Then we will discuss our experiment design, which aims to compare the energy efficiency and the performance of the code generated by ChatGPT with the handwritten code. We select subjects from the computer language benchmark game. We will call it CLBG and later focus on the top 5 programming languages for each language. We've chosen 5 algorithms, resulting in a diverse set of 50 algorithm programs. You can see it on the table on the right. These include both handwritten code and the code generated by ChatGPT. And then, before diving into the experimental setup, we will talk about our hypothesis and analysis approach first. So, for research question 1, we hypothesize there's no significant difference in energy consumption between the two code types. As for research question 2, we hypothesize there's no significant difference in the performance metrics between the two code types like ChatGPT generated code and the handwritten code. And then we will be connecting data on energy consumption and various performance metrics. This data will be then subject to statistical analysis to test our hypothesis, and then we aim to provide a clear comparison between the ChatGPT generated code and the handwritten code. And moving on to our experimental setup, the independent variable in our experiment is the type of the code, either ChatGPT generated or handwritten. Our dependent variables include energy consumption, the execution time, power, CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the disk I/O, as you can see it in the table 1 on the right. And these metrics will help us assess the energy efficiency and the performance of the code. To ensure accurate measurement, we were using a Raspberry Pi for independent code execution, and then we will establish SSH connections for simulated metric testing. Each code segment will execute it 30 times to ensure the reliability of our data. And in conclusion, our experiment is designed to provide a valuable insight into the energy efficiency and performance of AI-generated code compared to the traditional handwritten code. We expect this research to significantly contribute to our understanding of the impact of AI in the field of software development. The broader implications of the study could highlight the potential for AI tools in fostering environmentally friendly, low-energy code execution.
Hi, I'm going to introduce our experiment's execution. Starting with our experiment setup, our main orchestrator are two PCs. One of them runs the experiment runner, the other one controls the Monsoon HV power meter, ensuring we get accurate power readings. The Raspberry Pi is the target system on which we run all the code snippets. A crucial aspect of our setup is the connectivity. Through an Ethernet cable and the SSH protocol, we can remotely execute Linux commands on the Raspberry Pi. Moreover, to measure the power consumption of the Raspberry Pi, which lacks a built-in power reader, we have employed the Monsoon HV power meter. We configure the power meter's main channels and connect them using two crocodile clips attached to the Raspberry Pi's pins, as you can see in this photo. Moving on to our execution process. Initially, we ensure that all the code snippets are downloaded to the Raspberry Pi, and we built up the according language dependencies for them. Then we have to ensure that all device connections are active and stable. With everything in place, we power up the Raspberry Pi using the main output from the power meter. And after then, we use the experiment runner's event manager, allowing for a systematic and structured execution of our experiments. By predefining several stages like before experiment, start run, and start measurement, we can ensure a smooth and efficient run for our experiment trials. We can see the create run table model this function in this picture, in which we initiate various combinations of our experiment parameters, such as languages, algorithms, and whether or not to use GPT. For thoroughness, we conduct 30 trials for each subject, with 1-minute cooling periods between trials to ensure the integrity of our results. With the Pi Monsoon profiler, we are able to record metrics like power, voltage, and current on one PC. Other critical metrics like memory utilization and CPU utilization are recorded by another PC. Given that our experiment runner and Pi Monsoon profiler store results locally on separate PCs, it's crucial to consolidate these results by incorporating timestamps at the start and end of each trial. We synchronize and integrate individual experiment outcomes.
Okay, now turn to the result analyze. The first part is data exploration. There are 1,500 data points 2 different code type multiplies 5 programming languages, multiplies 5 different algorithm, multiplies 30 trials. The majority of data appears to be centralized, indicating the stable outcomes for the most combinations. Here is an example of the stable outcomes. The box plots of the resource consumption of the algorithm first are written in C, and this becomes even more evident when we examine a specific algorithm implemented across the 5 programming languages, because there are not many outliers. When combining GPT-generated codes and handwritten codes, performance disparities merge across different programming languages. Now let's turn to the second part, normality checking. The density plots suggest that all dependent variables deviate from the normal distribution pattern. And here the density plots. So we subject both handwriting data and data generated by GPT to superior walk test for normality. From the result in the table, we can conclude that all the dependent variables do not follow the normal distribution. Notably, all values in the disk I/O column are zero, due to the programming either not utilizing or utilizing minimal disk capacity. Now let's turn to the last part, hypothesis testing. We elect to utilize the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test to test our hypothesis and Cliff's delta to quantify the effect size. For research question 1, energy efficiency part, we reject the null hypothesis, which means there is a significant difference between GTP-generated codes and handwritten codes in terms of energy consumption when doing the same job. The negative effect size exhibits GTP codes are more energy efficient in terms of the consumption. Our research question 2 focuses on resource-power relationship. Firstly, we consider the power and do the hypothesis testing of the power. We reject the null hypothesis of power, which indicates ChatGPT codes are energy efficient. For resource measurements, we reject the null hypothesis of runtime and CPU load and accept the null hypothesis of memory, which means there is a significant difference between the GDP code and the handwritten code in terms of the runtime and the CPU load, but not memory usage. Combining the effect size result, we conclude that runtime exerts a more substantial influence on power.
Hello, I'm Xingwen. I'm going to talk about relevant discussions about the research questions. So in the first research question, our study indicates a significant improvement in energy efficiency when using code generated by ChatGPT as compared to the handwritten codes. This is a remarkable finding, especially for those scenarios where energy efficiency is a critical factor. So we recommend considering the use of ChatGPT-generated code in such situations. The robustness of our findings is reinforced by the fact that our selection was not random, but rather very representative. We included some of the most widely used programming languages as per the questionnaire of Stack Overflow, and some commonly used algorithms in our study. These algorithms are sometimes the foundation of many large softwares. However, it's important to clarify the scope of our study. Our assessment did not consider the generation of server-side codes, which may still consume a significant amount of power. Because there are already some studies about it, but it is not within the scope of our paper. Additionally, the process of code compilation was not included in our measurement. These are areas that could be explored in the future research. It is also worth noting that ChatGPT is not only used for large-scale projects. Some developers utilize this tool solely for accomplishing one-off tasks. So in some cases, our conclusion does not apply. Then I would like to emphasize the response to research question 2. We found that lower CPU utilization and shorter runtime play a very important role in lowering the power consumption. However, the memory usage difference is not that significant in this case, so we do not consider the memory usage a very important factor here. As developers, we can still apply ChatGPT generated codes to softwares that need lower CPU utilization and shorter runtime. So for those working on optimizing energy-efficient programs, try optimizing CPU utilization and decreasing runtime may be the solution. So it points out the direction for relevant researches. It may accelerate the future studies.